Oh. I see a thing that we're live.
And good afternoon. Today is Thursday, September 24th, 2020, and Dave is on vacation again. Do you see my face? Do you see my face? Okay. Yeah. So we are rolling without Dave today. You just have Dr. Kimberly. Woo-hoo. And I am so excited. We have been going back and forth a little bit to get Gerid Adams here on the show. He is one of our top viewers, so I am so excited to have you. How are you today, Gerid?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. So today, on top of having our wonderful Beth, who is, I think, my official interpreter, she just belongs to me. She's been rolling with us since May 7th when we started the Rolling on the Road franchise. And we have some more assists today. What do we have? Can you tell everybody what they can see on the screen today?
Well, so basically I'm calling into this meeting so I can have captions on my caption call phone, which you can see over here. This is what I look at so that I have my own personal captions. And in case I don't hear something you say, then I just look at my phone. So.
Whereas for me, I read your lips.
Yeah, I'm a lip reader myself too. So
Yes.
Lip reading is not always available. So I do use my phone on conference calls and all kinds of other stuff to help me with communication. So
as I was saying, we say thank you to the Deaf and Hard of Hearing for always being here for us on all three shows. You know, we love to do shameless plugs around here, but we definitely have a double excitement here because, I just saw you turned, and I'm sure that's not a headband that I saw on your head. Can you tell me what it is that you have?
back here?
Yeah, I saw something really cute. Yes. Besides your ponytail.
Yeah, I'm trying to be like Dave. I'm getting there someday.
I'm still waiting for him to loan me a little bit of hair. I just need.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is my thing. You ready for this? See this fingernail? It's all designed. It's all cute, right? So I just want to go. What'd you say?
There you go. Yeah, you got some work to do yet.
What?
So
that's all I want to like.
So basically, this is a cochlear implant, and it's magnetic. It just goes right up here on my ear, and they do a surgery to put a magnetic plate in here, and then there's a wire that goes down into my cochlea, and that vibrates to simulate sound waves. So basically, a cochlear implant is what you go to is the next step up once hearing aids are no longer powerful enough to help your hearing.
Or like this, see, I have one here and one on this side. My little hand, I think it's cute. My kids, my grandkids were like, Nana, I think there's something in your ear, and they snatched out my ear.
Yeah.
They're like, what is this? And I was like, give me that back. You know, like I was supposed to check in with them first before I received my hearing aids, but I just thought that was cute. But everybody did. I think you have something, you know, because they had the little wire.
A retainer wire.
Yeah, and sometimes I didn't get the wire out, you know, in quite right in my ear, and so everyone would just come up to me and, oh, look, I think, don't talk, just don't. Which leads me to my first question for you today. What irritates you the most with other people concerning your disability? Like for me, when I first got my hearing aids, I had a difficult time getting the retainer wire in, and people would just come up to me, or sometimes it would pop out, and people would just come up to me and feel like they needed to touch it or pull it, which I don't understand why. But
Yeah,
so what's
maybe
your
they're trying to be helpful. Um, I don't know. I mean, I've been deaf since I was 2 years old, so I'm pretty used to all the different scenarios. I'm actually very open. You know, if somebody approaches me in a grocery store and points out my implants, or I have little kids that, you know, stare up at my implant, I open up to them. I tell them what it is, how it helps me, and I smile a lot just because I know it can feel awkward. Sometimes people feel like they might be being rude, and I don't want them to feel like they're being rude. You know, I'm glad they asked. You know, the more knowledge and education we have about any disability, really, the more other people can understand it, and um, not treat it so differently. You know, I think a lot of people are afraid of things they don't know about. So being able to explain it, and I think that's why people stare sometimes, because they're not staring to be rude. They're staring because they're curious. They want to know, you know, what what is that? And once they know, then they probably wouldn't feel the need to stare at it, because then they know what it is. You know, it's kind of like the weird car that drives by and you're staring at that car trying to figure out what kind of car it is. Um, but I can't really think of anything that really irritates me, other than sometimes I feel like maybe when I'm in an important conversation and I'm missing a specific piece of information that I need to be plugged into that conversation, and someone just says, "Oh, never mind, I'll tell you later," you know, and so that's great that you'll tell me later, but that excludes me from the conversation because I don't know what's going on, you know. So I guess that would be the one thing that irritates me the most.
which kind of leads me into the next point is better educating people, because I know we definitely, you said you've been deaf since you were 2. And so you've learned how to deal with it. But if you have someone who's like me, who has acquired hearing loss, I've had a couple of surgeries, and because of the surgeries, I've lost hearing. And so maybe from my point of view, the fact that I could hear and now I can't hear, and I'm still having conversations basically with the same people, but now needing them to maybe look at me so that I can read their lips, or can you talk a little bit louder, enunciate, or can you just please repeat that? It gets frustrating for the other person in the conversation. And so they just say, you know what, forget about it. We'll talk about it later. But you're saying, no, I want to be engaged. I want to hear, I want to understand. And I think it shows sometimes people's intolerance to be adaptable.
Absolutely. I can tell you, when I started working for Caption Call 8 years ago, I started installing phones. By the way, anything I say on this show is my individual opinion, is not associated with any of the companies I work for or support. But anyway, um, I would go to multiple installs and I would put a phone in. You know, a couple specific examples that stick out to me. Um, you know, there was a mother and a daughter in this apartment, and I went and put in the phone, and the mother had just lost her hearing, just got hearing aids, and she was doing dishes. And then she turned around, she asked her daughter a question, and then she turned back around to finish doing the dishes and didn't look at her daughter to receive the answer.
Yeah.
And then the daughter gave the answer. The mother turned around and said, "What?" And the daughter was irritable. She said, "Mom, you have to look at me when I'm talking to you." She was frustrated, and I could sense a lot of tension. And this is not uncommon, you know, and it's frustrating for both parties. And so I kind of eased the tension a little bit, and I told the daughter, "Hey, look, your mom's been able to hear for 85 years of her life. It's a habit. she's always been able to wash dishes and carry a conversation and have no trouble hearing you. You know, it's not going to be a habit that she breaks over the day or a week or a month. You know, this is something you both have to adapt to. And told her, you know, maybe tap her on the shoulders or call her name and wait 3 seconds so her brain can get ready to receive audio input from you and process it. You know, I just gave her a number. And so anyway, I finished my install and I went out to the elevator. I was waiting for the elevator, and the daughter came out, and she had tears coming down her eyes, and she's like, I just wanted to say thank you for pointing that out. I didn't realize I was being so mean to my mom. And she just broke down crying, and she gave me a hug. And or I hugged her. This was pre-COVID, by the way.
You know, isn't that crazy? We have to make sure that when we post pictures now, we have to say, this is, you know, pre-COVID, you know, didn't do this during COVID. Yeah.
So I've run into situations like that often. And that's partly why I started up the local HLAA chapter too, because I realized there's a lot of people out there trying to deal with this on their own, and they don't have to deal with it on their own. There's groups out there that can help with, you know, both from the family member point of view and from the person who's lost their hearing. It's not just the person who's lost the hearing that has to adapt a little bit. So, and your world is different from mine because yours is newly acquired. Like you said, you had hearing all your life, and then this is a very drastic change for you, where I've had it all my life. I've learned all the tips and tricks and all the patience needed to be in that situation. And I even take it for granted sometimes, and I forget, you know, adults that have newly acquired hearing loss struggle with it far more, you know, far more than I ever will, because I've always had it. So
I think one of the big things for me is, I know you heard me, or you just don't pay attention to what I say to you. Yes, I do. I think one piece that you said that was key in my case for my hearing loss is I have to be paying direct attention to you. You know, as a person who heard well before, it's easy to multitask, not look at you just as the mom did. Oh, ask a question, then turn around and then do whatever it is you're doing. And they respond and you don't hear it all. You get bits and pieces. So what I try to do is repeat back what I thought I heard. And then, you know, that kind of takes away the tension, because it is hilarious. In fact, I just got a message from a former guest because I thought Dave and I interviewed Bill from, what is it? The Rapid. And he was telling us about the new bus line. It's called the Laker line. I thought he said the liquor line. And I mean, I'm just so sure as I'm listening to him, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I said, oh, wow, that is so cool. They have a liquor line, you know, for the students. They can go from downtown out to the Allendale campus, and they just laugh. Oh my gosh. It's still funny.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it definitely presents some pretty interesting, you know, my wife and I have interesting conversations sometimes where I'm completely off topic. It doesn't happen so much now that I have cochlear implants. You know, when I had hearing aids, my word recognition was at 24% on my left ear and 0% on the right. So it wasn't helping. But back then, I would have a lot of those hilarious moments where you say something that sounds pretty darn close to what they said, but the meaning is completely different.
And so, you know, so now when I do that to my husband, he's just, oh my gosh, he laughs so hard. He's like, you are funny. And I said, and it's not that I'm not paying attention. I mean, I am, but again, I'm used to hearing. So I think, oh, I can do this. And then it's like, I don't know what you said. And sometimes I don't come even close. Now, liquor, Laker,
That's close.
that was kind of close. That
Yeah,
was
I'll give you a
close.
pass on that.
Yeah, that was kind of close. And then, of course, he's talking about students downtown. They have all these beer pubs downtown. So it just makes sense to me, from downtown to Allendale, the liquor line. But so let's go back a little bit. So at 2 years old, you lost your hearing.
Yeah, at 2 years old, I had pneumonia. And so I got, my fever was so high, or the antibiotics they gave me wrecked the hair cells in my cochlea. So I had profound hearing loss. I wore hearing aids for 36 years, 34 years. I went to a special school in Berrien Springs, and then I was mainstreamed by fifth grade completely. And 5 years ago, I got my first cochlear implant. I was very, very nervous, very worried. It's a surgery, 4-hour surgery, is outpatient. It was very easy. I mean, I was
Oh,
worried about nothing really. Um, by about 6 months, my word recognition on this side went from 0% up to 78%.
wow.
And then 4 years later, I decided 3 years later, I decided to get my other side done. This year was always my dominant ear growing up. After I got my cochlear implant done, this year ended up becoming my dominant ear, which I could not have imagined in my wildest dreams that this ear would ever be that good.
Wow.
So I decided to get this side done 3 years afterwards, and my word recognition from this side went from 24% to 98%. So it's been very phenomenal. I wish I had gotten it done 5 to 10 years sooner. Um, the main thing that pushed me to get it done was, my kids are getting older. And when I didn't have kids and I was with a group of friends and we were talking and I'd miss out on certain parts of a conversation, well, that's life for me. I'm used to that, right? I can tell what's important and what's just joking around. And um, but with my kids getting older, I don't want to miss that information. I want to be part of the conversation, whether it's joking around or something important or not, especially as they're getting into sports and they're going to start having friends around. I got to be the cool dad and be involved in all that good stuff. So
No, most importantly, I need to know if you sneaking out the house after I told you to go to bed and
yeah.
y'all want to go hang out. Let's just tell the real truth. I need to make sure I can hear that door open. The ding ding. Yeah.
Well, one thing I did figure out once I went from getting hearing aids to a cochlear implant is I can't wear these while I sleep.
Oh.
So my watch now serves as my alarm clock as well, and it works very well. For the longest time, my wife was basically my alarm clock.
So is her name Denise?
Yes.
Hey, Denise. I
Oh.
think she put a real pretty little red heart. So I think she might like it. So we
I didn't
want to
realize
say
she
hello
was.
to her. And we want to say hello to Jenny, who is one of our top fans. And I want to say hello to Karen. Karen is watching. Hey, Karen. How are you? Yeah. So what would you say to someone? Oh, well, first of all, how bad does your hearing have to be in order to get a cochlear implant?
You have to have somewhere between severe to profound hearing loss. So basically, hearing aids, I see you have behind the ear hearing aids, so you must have a relatively significant loss compared to other people.
Yeah. And I also have the ringing. So I have therapy in there as well.
Oh, the tinnitus.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the reason you have behind the ear is because it has to be more powerful. They just can't fit all that technology down in the ear and get that much sound power out of it. But once you get to the point where the hearing aids are no longer doing the job, and that's about when you get cochlear implants.
My left is a lot worse than the right. The surgery, they cut from here down. And I think that my stroke affects my left side. So when they did the surgery, it affected that left ear a lot worse than it did my right ear. So my right ear is my dominant ear. That left ear is just.
There are some people that are bimodal, which means they have a hearing aid on one side and a cochlear implant on the other. I was bimodal for 3 years, worked fabulous for me. The best way to really know is to go see an ENT and just tell them, you know, I'm considering an implant. Can we do some testing to see where I fall? And then you go from there. So I went to my surgeon was Dr. Daniels at ENT Center here in Grand Rapids, and for my right side, and my left side, he did my left side. My right side was out of Ann Arbor, and my doctor was out of Ann Arbor. So the Cochlear Implant Center, Dr. Tellian was my surgeon there.
Your speech is phenomenal. Just phenomenal. If you didn't see the implant, it would almost seem as though you have just a slight accent. So what do you attribute to your speech? If you said that you were 2 when you lost your hearing, you must have had some pretty good hearing aids, or you must have worked, you know, extremely hard to make sure that your speech is as good as it is.
Yeah, it was a lot of speech therapy. My parents were believers of, you know, making sure I used my voice as much as humanly possible. The more you use it, the better it gets. My speech did improve slightly with my implants, but it's been mostly pretty good as far as I can remember. I get comments all the time from especially speech therapists. They're just blown away, you know, because they understand how loss of hearing can affect your voice. And they'll always just be like, wow, your speech is so good. And I like to talk a lot, so that must be it.
I think that's what helps me. But I'm scheduled to go back to, you know, I was doing speech therapy, and of course COVID hit. So I was excited when they called and said, hey, you can go back to speech therapy. And I'm like, yes. I love it. I love it. I want to say hey to Jason. Jason is watching today. He is also one of our most wonderful, wonderful followers. So we're most grateful to those who take the time out to watch us live. So what would you say to someone who is considering cochlear implants, who's eligible for it? Can you give them 3 great reasons why they should, or maybe some of 3 reasons why you didn't do it initially?
Well, I didn't do it initially because it is a surgery. You know, that in itself is scary. You know, you think about, oh my gosh, they're going to be open up the side of my head. They're going to be near my brain, which is not true. They don't get anywhere near the brain. The brain sits much farther back than the ear. So, you know, it was mostly lack of knowledge that kept me from getting it sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there is a risk of losing what residual hearing you have. But for me on this side, I really had no residual hearing. I was at 0% word recognition. So it was kind of like, I got nothing to lose, right? If they do the surgery and it doesn't work and I lose all my hearing, well, I've already lost all my hearing. You know, it couldn't really get any worse. And it took me 2 or 3 years to feel safe and get comfortable with doing my other side, because this was my good ear growing up. So if I lost that, then I'm out of luck. But I was doing so good with this side that I figured, well, if I lose the other side, then I at least have this side. But I was, after doing some reading, the risk of the surgery itself, um, I'm a numbers guy, so I like to look up statistics, and basically it's safer to drive to the hospital than it is to get or it's safer to get the surgery done than it is to drive to the hospital.
Wow.
So you have more chance of dying in a car accident than you do any major side effects from the surgery. So, if you get to the hospital safe, then you're good, right?
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good to me. You know, so
So,
I guess my next question would be today, our demo that we're using here, how does it work? And if someone wanted to get it, what do they need to do?
well, so this caption call demo here, it's a federally funded program. So there's no cost to anybody that needs it. It's thanks to Title IV of the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. And in order to get it, they can go to captioncall.com and fill out the form. And it's just that simple. We've removed a lot of the red tape now. You no longer need internet for it. You don't have to have a landline anymore. And so basically you just dial your number like any normal phone. You start talking to them on it, and it will caption out what the other person is saying for them.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you look on your phone bill, in the fees and taxes section, there's a universal access charge there. I think right now it's at about $1.17. That money goes to the FCC, the Federal Communications Fund, and then they manage that fund to provide this phone and services to anybody that has a hearing loss that needs it.
So does this replaces the TDDY?
The TTY, yeah, this is basically a modern version of it. This way you can also talk to them and hear them at the same time, and this assists you. Whereas the TTY, you're talking you may be talking or typing to someone else that's also typing and then talking to the other person, which creates quite a bit of a delay. Then that person talks and the middle person types it out, and then you read it and you respond back and forth. Whereas this one is almost instant, and you don't have to read it word for word. It can sometimes just be used for, oh shoot, what topic are we on? We're talking about football now. So, he didn't say he caught a 15-inch bass. He said he caught a 15-yard pass.
Pass.
That
would be.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that definitely would be me. I would hear, oh, he went fishing while he was playing football? Wait a minute, what?
Yeah, transition from a topic to topic is usually one of the hardest parts, because, your brain is constantly processing, looking for key words out of a conversation. And then you also do some sort of correction after you hear the conversation as well. And if you know what topic you're on, like football, you're looking for quarterback, pass, field goal, coach, players, whole range of terminology you're listening for and then piecing that together. Whereas if you think you're still talking about fishing, you're going to get it confused with, bass and 15 pounds and fishing poles, that kind of stuff. So it's very important that if you're discussing something with someone that has a hearing loss, that they know what topic you're on. Don't just suddenly shift topics. That's a very quick way to throw them off.
And I like to think that, oh, my hearing is not that badly. But as I listen to you, I can definitely see where I lose things, especially in personal conversations. With being rolling on the road, I have this big, huge screen. I'm able to see you and I'm looking directly at you. I have Beth. So I have like all of these assists in the conversation and I'm able to keep up. But when it comes to that one-on-one in person, where it becomes more difficult, especially if the television is on, so I'm not hearing all of the words. If the dishwasher is going, it almost has to be complete silence, me looking directly at you, and then I get the full conversation of everything that's happening. But all that extra in your brain is processing. I didn't realize how much distraction we have, you know.
Absolutely. And all that ambient noise also increases your hearing fatigue. So there's something called hearing fatigue for people that have a hearing loss, so if you're listening to somebody talk in a noisy environment, your brain is working double time to try to filter that stuff out and put the puzzle pieces together. And by the end of the day, you could be very, very tired.
I'm
Yeah, you're just mentally worn out.
excuse me,
And that's
especially with the ringing. And I noticed, at the end of the day, and I get ready to take out my hearing aids, the ring is so loud, and I can't hear something else. Hold on one second. Ooh, my allergies. Excuse me. I didn't bring my cup. I didn't bring my water. Usually. I,
I should have ordered the right-handed one.
I told Dave, I said, I need one that goes with the right hand. So
Yeah, my carrier pigeon came this morning to give me one of these.
in time for the show. And I don't have mine is in the dishwasher. It's clean. I chose to put my eyelashes on during our prep time in the green room instead of going to get my water in my cup. So yeah. So he got to see the me before the show.
Yeah.
But I love it. So can you believe it? Let's see. We are now at the 4:33. Wow. So let's move into great segue. First, we need to do a couple of shameless plugs. We're going to take a little commercial break here. We want to say thank you to Disability Advocates of King County and 100 Shades of Disability, who sponsors this show 3 days a week. And we want to say thank you to Community Media Center, GRTV, Cable Channel 25, who re-airs our show 4 times a week. So we are so grateful for that. And again, we say thank you to the Deaf of Heart and Hearing for rolling with us on the road. Yesterday, we were in Oklahoma. Today, we're back in the Grand Rapids area, and we are talking to Gerid Adams, and we are so excited. He's been watching the show for a while. He is so engaging, and sometimes it's a little difficult to juggle all the guests, and it's amazing how people call you and say, hey, I want to be on, and you're like, well, I had this scheduled, and we try to, on Tuesdays, speak to the big system, and then on Wednesday, talk to the person, and then on Thursday, come back and talk to our frontline workers. And so I really would consider you a frontline worker. How have you been able to help those with the caption call during the COVID?
Well, so now I'm more of a work from home position. I do a lot of phone calls and emailing. I still do visits. So I have 7 people that do the installs now around the state of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
When I started 8 years ago, it was just me and one other person.
Oh,
Now
wow.
there's a total of 12 of us that manage Michigan. But I just seek out, places with the demographics, more of the elderly demographics that really need it. There's so many people out there that don't realize that it's there for them. I think talking to you in the green room about it, you didn't realize that something like this was available to you.
No.
So, that's my job.
Which
And
I would really love. Right now, I have 2 phones. I have an iPhone and an Android. So on the iPhone, they have paired, so I'm a veteran, as everybody can see, United States Navy, whoop, whoop.
thank you.
and they connected. They have a partnership with iPhone, so they connect it to your iPhone. I'm sure if you have an Android, they may do that, but I presented both phones, and they said no, we connect to the iPhone. Since you have the iPhone, that's our primary. And I said, okay, fine. So as long as I talk on the iPhone, I'm good because it's right in my ear and I can hear well, but I don't hear well on my Android. And so if I talk, I have to put it on speaker, and then I still kind of miss some of the conversation. It's a little bit difficult for me. So I always try to, especially if it's very important, I just have people call me on my iPhone, because then it just comes straight through the hearing aid and I'm able to hear. So to have the captioning would be awesome, especially if I use the Android phone.
We do have an Android app coming out in a couple of months. We already have an iPhone app available where you can talk, still stream it straight through your hearing aids and read the words all at the same time, but not while you're driving.
Did you see that boo-boo face? I mean, it just came so quickly. I was like, whoa.
It looks like
okay, so disclaimer, not that we drive, and try to read at the same time. We don't know. You okay?
for me, yeah. I noticed my captioning stopped, but that's fine. I don't want to interrupt the show, so
do we need to do something?
I'm good. We can keep going.
Oh, this is where it gets interesting, people. You got the two of us, and we're gonna try to wing it because I've been using the captions too.
Have you? I can start it back up.
Because I've been using the captions too. I'm like, yes. So right now, he's demonstrating how to use the caption call. Okay, it says very high demand may cause a delay in captioning. Please be patient. And it says your call will now be captioned. Oh, I love it. Okay, so we all see your number, right?
Yeah, this is your meeting ID.
Okay. In the meeting now, there are 4 participants in the meeting. This meeting is being recorded. You are. Oh my gosh. So we all got to see firsthand how caption call works. I love it.
Oh, I'm still on hold. You have to accept it.
Okay. So is everybody watching? So here I am in my participation. I am going to admit in his phone number. So the phone number just came through and it's in.
There you go.
So it says you're muted, unmute yourself.
That's okay. I use this for the mic.
Okay. So, normally we sing a little song, unmute yourself. Yeah. Unmute yourself.
As much as I've seen you sing that, even when I got into the green room, I still didn't unmute myself. And I'm glad you were singing that, because I was just like, dude, I should know this by now.
Yeah, not just because that's the song. We say, unmute yourself. I love it. So everybody, how much of a hearing loss do you have to have in order to get the caption call?
It's not a specific hearing loss. If you're struggling to communicate on the phone, this is for you. So there's no decibel level threshold. There's no word discrimination threshold. If you're talking on the phone and you have trouble at all, even if it's just with one person, you qualify. This is what this product is for. This is for you.
And currently it's only available for the iPhone and not the Android.
Correct. It's available for the Android in a couple months. I actually have it. I'm beta testing it, and it works very nicely. There's a couple of minor bugs, but it'll be out relatively soon. Um, the other beauty of the program is that once you sign up for it, we call you and schedule an appointment, and we actually go out to your house and install the phone for you and show you how it works in the whole 9 yards. We're not just going to send you a phone in the mail and expect you to figure it out. You know, we want to make sure that you're comfortable with it and you actually know how to use it. So
I will take one for $200. So I am so excited because I will go on captioncall.com today as soon as the show is over, and I am going to order my phone.
awesome.
So that means you're going to come to my house and like, hey, dude, what's up?
I could probably come with the trainer. Yes, I don't do the actual installs anymore, but
Oh, do you see my face?
yeah, I know. Yeah, I can probably come with the trainer though. So that'd
And
be-
then I'm going to say, everyone, look what I have. Yes. I'm going to be so excited.
yeah, and you know, and the other thing is as someone with a hearing loss, you like you said, you're reading lips, you're looking at body language, you're taking in context, the topic.
Yeah.
Well, when you get on the phone to talk to somebody, that's all out the window. You don't have body language. You don't have, you're not able to read lips. So your brain works a lot harder, and you have to mentally concentrate to figure out what words are coming over the phone, and it just makes for a stressful conversation for a lot of people. It's not a fun endeavor to talk on the phone for someone with a hearing loss. You know, many people will keep conversations very short and sweet. You know, hey, I have a family reunion at June 20th at 2:30, you know, be there. Okay, great, bye. You know, that's the extent of it. You keep it sweet and simple, right? Because
These people get frustrated because it's like, you don't answer the phone. Well, I'm too prideful. So I'm just saying it, in front of everybody to admit to the fact, if you call my Android, it's so difficult for me to have a conversation because I don't understand half of what's really being said to me. Even when I put it on the speakerphone, I'm constantly having to repeat myself. So, what did you just say? Or, you find these cute ways to get people to repeat themselves, and then they get frustrated, and then you're frustrated. So, guess what? I just look at the phone and, yep, I just type, hey, I'm busy right now. I'll give you a call back, or you can text me right now. It's not a problem. Or what I'll do is I'll call them on the iPhone and I'll just say, hey, I'll call you from the other phone. And then I'm able to hear a lot better. And I try to go somewhere where it's, a lot more quieter and I can focus on the conversation and not have to, fight for all that surround sound. So
yeah, so when you have the words, when you can read that, you know, that relieves some of the taxing of your brain processing and gives you another visual to go with your audio and make that a little bit easier. So, you know, I remember being on the phone before, and even still to this day, you know, there's a level of anxiety that happens when your phone rings, right? You're wondering,
absolutely.
who am I going to be talking to? What are they going to want to talk about? Is it going to be a male or a female? Are they going to have an accent? You know, so a lot of times it's easier to let it go to voicemail and then listen to what they say, try to pre-plan your conversation and then call them. You know,
It's
everybody,
amazing. I'm telling you, I have loved this time with you because it's like, yeah, I've learned some better tips and I see things that I was doing instinctively. I mean, you just mapped out everything that I do. And because my thing is I will communicate via text or email. So my husband's like, "You're always on that phone," and he doesn't realize that's how I'm communicating. Because it's like, well, his thing is, why, is the phone not ringing? Why won't you answer the phone? And then I see you, you're on here, and it's like, because see, then I have to admit that I really don't hear as well as I pretend like I do.
That's not uncommon. Yeah.
So I have a question here from Jenny Merkel. She is the information and resource specialist at Disability Advocates of Kent County. She wants to know, are you going to come to Disability Advocates of Kent County to demo to the people that I'm thinking that she would refer to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we get the answer. The answer is yes.
Yes.
Because I
Without
can't wait. I am so excited to get mine, and I can't wait. So now my question is, when I get it, the phone is the phone like an iPhone, or is it an Android, or is it just a flip phone?
This is what you get right here.
Oh, that's cute.
I have the phone off the hook so that it doesn't hang up on the call, but this is the phone. And I mean, it's got an answering machine on board. It'll do voicemails. It will do standalone answering machines. You can save your conversations if you want, which I've noticed that some kids with parents that have Alzheimer's, they taught their parents to save every single call. And then when the kids visit, they go and look through their phone conversations in case the parents have forgotten what was discussed, between a doctor or something. But it doesn't save the conversation unless you ask it to. You have to ask it to save. So every time you hang up, it'll ask you, do you want to save this or delete it?
Oh, that is nice. So it's something that has to sit. So it's not portable. It's like a regular phone.
Yes, like a landline based phone, correct.
Okay. And then I just have to have my cell phone near it or be close, or I can have it.
No, your cell phone is something completely different. So if you wanted to, instead of using this phone, you can just use the iPhone app.
Oh, okay.
So, it really, we have a solution for pretty much every lifestyle out there now. Some people have it on their iPhone and their iPad, and they have the standalone phone at home. Whatever fits your lifestyle and your mode of communication, then we can make that work most of the time.
Okay. So Denise, girl, right now in this moment, I have to do this. I love you. I'm telling you, I am about to cry. I am so happy right now. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. So my life just got 1,000% better and easier because of Caption Call. Now, the other piece that we really need to work on, and I'm not sure if this is, in your area of expertise, is how do you take, like we do this Zoom casting to live on Facebook, and how do we get closed captioning on that so that we're making sure that we're getting all of the audience and all those who want to be involved. We want to make it as accessible as possible.
Yeah, so you would contact someone that does CART, CART. And if you need resources, I have a few contacts that I can connect you with.
I'll take those for 200 as well, Alex. Thank you.
So basically, CART is a captioning access relay something. But you have somebody that's a stenographer, right? And they listen, they join the Zoom call with you or Teams or whatever, and they listen and they type out at the same time, and then it should display across the bottom of your screen. So, I mean, they do charge for that service. So, just very much like an interpreter does unless they don't, but typically they charge for interpreting services. It's the same with CART. So yeah, and again, CART is great. When we have our HLAA meetings, we have CART, and
Okay, you just use an acronym, and we really try not to do acronyms because everybody doesn't know what they are, especially if they're not in the hearing loss world. So, what is that acronym?
so HLAA is Hearing Loss Association of America, and it's a chapter that I've started back up here in Greater Grand Rapids, and they work on opening the world of communication to those with hearing loss through advocacy, education, um, communication, and as an advocate myself, I so I don't know if you're familiar with loop systems. That could take up a whole
Yes.
nother
Oh
hour,
my gosh, yes.
but
I went to Cornerstone, uh, and they have a loop system there, and I just yes, love it.
no. So I've been to Van Andel Arena and they did not have a loop system, and I contacted their management and they were very nice and cooperative. And um, long story short, they're going to put in a loop system at Van Andel Arena.
Good.
Um, Civic Theater, they had trouble with theirs, and I went to see an Elf show there. Unfortunately, I missed out on a lot of it because the loop was broken. But I advocated and talked with them. They went out and got a new system and got that all fixed up. Um, so I've been out there working with a number of people trying to help make life with hearing loss easier when we're out and about doing our everyday stuff.
Yeah.
So
Grand Valley State has loop as well. I
yeah,
did some classes there for the MVE lab, as a matter of fact, which is the Military Veteran Entrepreneur Lab. So those persons who are veterans and want to start their own business, they can go through the MVE lab, and they also have a loop system there. Because you get to do a pitch night for $5,000 at the end of the I think it's 10 weeks, 6 weeks, something, 10 weeks, I think it is. I think it's 10 weeks that you attend. And then at the end, you do a pitch night. So it was very nice to do, pitch night there with a
so
little.
Grand Valley, um, we're actually working on a technology room down in Grand Valley State, the downtown administration building, I think,
Mhm.
where we have all the different technologies on hand for people to come in and try it in person and check out how it works. Um, and then resources, where you can obtain that technology. There's just so much going on, so many different ways to accomplish some of the same things. Um, so that was supposed to start up back in February, but we got hit with COVID and pretty much everything's been put on pause
Telling you.
since then. So, um, but I'm excited to get that started back up as soon as things return to, the normal,
The
uh,
new normal.
the new normal.
Yeah.
Hopefully sooner than later, but um,
So we have about 6 minutes left. And can you just kind of talk a little bit, you know, about the hearing loss of America, and you being the presidential chapter, the president of the chapter? Oh my goodness, my words.
yeah, I mean, Hearing Loss Association of America was started back in 1979 by someone named Rocky Stone. Um, he actually used to be a CIA agent, and he left that in order to start a group called SHHH. It was, yeah, um, it was for, um, and in 2006, they renamed it to HLAA, which was a little bit more intuitive as to what it is. And they've been involved in a lot of legislature. They actually helped with writing of the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, which was very big. I'm sure you're very familiar with that act, and lots of other things to advocate. Right now they're pushing to get hearing loss to be part of Medicaid and Medicare because it's not a standard part of Medicaid, Medicare.
Right.
And so they've been involved in a lot of legislature at the federal level. At the local level, we go around and we advocate, we help people understand how to make life easier for someone that has a hearing loss. Right now, there's an estimated about 1.2 million people in Michigan alone that have a hearing loss. So, and I would just say, if you're out there and you have trouble hearing people, don't delay it. Please go get your ears checked. Um, the longer you wait to get that help, once you get the help, the longer it takes to recover. Most people, on average, take about 7 years before they finally get help for their ears. By then, a part of their brain has started.
To atrophy.
Yeah, atrophy. That's a perfect word for it. Um, and even though you can hear the sound, the brain can't process the sound into words. So it takes a while for your brain to relearn again how to convert the sound into words you understand. So the longer you take before you get yourself hearing aids or an implant or any kind of assistance, the harder the recovery is going to be once you get that help. So, go as soon as you can. It doesn't hurt to get your hearing checked. Um, a lot of places will do hearing tests for free. They'll tell you where you're at. It's good to have a baseline so you know where your normal is, and then you go every once a year or two. Once you start dipping below your own normal, that's when you may need to take some action before that part of your brain starts to atrophy. And now there was a John Hopkins study a big study. There was a 10-year study with 10,000 people that is showing links to Alzheimer's from untreated hearing loss.
Really?
Because your brain is working so hard to put the puzzle pieces together, and it just wears your brain out faster, I guess. And now they're also linking it with hearing fatigue and a number of other things. So dementia. So don't wait, So did you wait, or was this an instant thing for you and you knew you had to get help for your hearing?
Well, in the last couple of minutes that we have for the show, there was 15 months in between each surgery. Each time they cut from here to here on the inside. And so I noticed it with the ringing. The ringing was first, and I thought it was just me. I said, well, maybe it was church, because the music is so loud. And I said, okay, I'll sit on the opposite side. So I tried to make, those type of adjustments. But after the second surgery, I had to go in. So probably from the first surgery to the second one going in, I did it within 2 years, probably, of noticing some loss.
Does your church have a loop system?
No.
No. There are some grants out there to help churches get loop systems. If you want to shoot me an email, I can connect you.
We can do that. I'll put that in the repertoire. So yeah, so for me, and I probably would not have done anything anyway until I had the second surgery, because they do cut from here all the way down. So I wouldn't have done anything before 2 years.
Okay.
And of the time that it took them to do both the surgeries. But as soon as I healed enough from the second surgery, which was in 2017, I went in and got checked. So I did. So I want to say so much thank you. Thank you, everybody. It is now the 5 o'clock hour. And as they say on the Mickey Mouse Show, MICKEY. Why? Because we love you. MOUSC.
Hmm.
And I have really enjoyed our time together. I think that it was a great session for myself. I don't know about anybody else, but it definitely helped me and make me better for you on the show and just better for everyone that has to deal with me. So now you understand. I'm not trying to ignore you. I just can't hear you all the time.
Yeah.
So I do, as we all do, we take the path that is least traveled. And today I've learned that I definitely need to take the high road and sometimes push through. I think I pushed through so many things that if there's an area where I can just say, oh, okay, I don't want to do that. And my hearing has definitely been one of those things. But I did get the hearing aids and it's helped, but I do need some more assist because I can see where I've lost some more, especially after having had a stroke. So, and being the hearing affecting that's been affected on that left side, I can really tell the difference with my hearing. So today I urge you to go out and get your ears checked. So they are open now. You can go. Um, and if you don't want to go to a clinic, you can go to your doctor and have them do a referral to the ENT, is what you said, right? Your ears, nose, and throat doctor.
Yes, for the cochlear implants. You want to go to specifically an ENT doctor. Yes.
ENT. So we are so grateful, and we'll have the information posted um, on our Facebook pages. And you can also go to Gerid Adams, GeridAdams. You can go to his page and get information. You can go to the Hearing Loss Association of America. Yes, and he is the president of the Greater Grand Rapids chapter. And you can also go to it is captioncall.com and you can sign up and you can get one of these wonderful, wonderful telephones. Look at there. I'm just enjoying it. Yes. And I need to work on my words when I'm talking because I see too many ums and okay, you know, and like.
Yeah.
All right, now it is 5:03 and we have got to get out of here. As much as we've enjoyed spending time with you today, we will see you on next Tuesday. And next Tuesday, we will be in East Grand Rapids where we will talk to their administration, students, as well as teachers and find out how have things been going to school during a pandemic. Yes, they've got some in classroom as well as still folks that want to stay at home that feel more comfortable. So we'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks, Jared.
My pleasure.